The Zartushti Women's HerStory project is now delighted to introduce Armene Modi in Pune, Maharashtra on Tuesday, April the 4th, 2017. Welcome, Armene.
Thank you, Farah.
Wonderful. Armene, please begin by telling us about the early days of your life.
I was in boarding school at a very, very young age. I think maybe not even 6 years old, and was raised in a Catholic convent, which tried to convert me.
Oh my goodness.
But
How old were
didn't
you?
succeed.
Oh.
I was there from 6 to 14,
Mm.
and don't have very pleasant memories of being away from my parents who lived in Aden. And those days it was very difficult to meet them except once every 2 or 3 years.
Oh my
So
goodness.
once in 2 years, my brother and I flew to Aden, and I remember flying in 1955 on an Air India plane, and it was just such an exciting experience to be on a plane and then and be in Aden, where in those days it was such a lovely British colony. A lot of Parsis, and I remember midnight picnics under the moon.
Oh, how
With
lovely.
dansak and kebabs and
Oh.
the whole Parsi community in Aden eating on the sand. So that's pretty much my childhood, and it was marred by the death of my father when I was 14.
Oh my
He
goodness.
died in a terrible accident, and my mother is the hero of my life.
Oh.
She raised the four of us. My youngest brother was 10, I was 14, my older brother was 17. And she raised us all, and today all of us are highly educated, doing well. The three of us in the United States. I was in the US for many years. And she was crippled. She had polio, but she never let any obstacle in her life hold her back.
Wow, she sounds
And,
amazing.
though she mourned my father for years and years, she only wore white almost till she was 75. But she had many falls, as many Parsi women do. And I still remember she had her right hand in a plaster, and she would still cook for us by putting the matchbox between her feet and using her left hand to strike it. And
Oh,
yeah, she's just my absolute hero.
wonderful.
And her whole life, she just it almost brings tears to my eyes to think about her. But all her life she helped people in every form, shape or manner that she could, even though she herself was so disabled.
Yeah. What was her name?
Mera Mystery. And her motto was, "To live is to give."
Oh my
That
goodness.
is, it has shaped my life, and it moved me to leave a very good job in Japan. I was teaching at universities for 11 years, and I decided one day to reinvent myself and come back to India to partly look after her and also to start a rural project near Pune.
Oh, your mom was living in Pune?
Yes, she was living in Pune, and she loved to travel. So I took her everywhere I could. We went to Switzerland, where we went on I still remember, on a cruise in the 80s, and everyone on the ship said that she resembled Indira Gandhi because she had this kind of, white strand among her gray locks. And, but she was an amazing woman. She won an Avon Lady Award when she lived with my brother in Houston, you know.
Really?
She could barely, I mean, she used a walking stick, and later in life she was in a wheelchair and stuff, but nothing held her back. And so that's been my, I mean, she's my role model.
Wonderful
And,
mother. Wow.
I was very, very blessed, I think. And I have a picture of Arnie's mother right behind me, and I'm sure Arnie will also, talk about her mother. I was very blessed. I also think I'm very blessed to be born a Zoroastrian, a Parsi, to have so many opportunities and privileges that so many people in this world don't get a chance to have. And that is also what has prompted me to to come back to India and see if I can do something to transform a few lives, particularly in village India, because I think there's so much work going on, so much social work going on in the urban sector. So I felt that I needed to maybe go where there was less initiatives being implemented. And I'm very happy and proud to say that my journey from village India has taken me to Brookings this coming summer.
Congratulations,
thank
Armene.
you. I've been selected as the Echidna Global Scholar by Brookings Institution's Center for Universal Learning.
Congratulations.
Education, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And Farah, I want to share with you my journey a little bit in Japan.
Yes.
So I got divorced at the age of 39, and I was a single parent with 2 kids in Hawaii, struggling and trying to make ends meet. And then this wonderful job came up in Japan, and I applied and I got accepted. And Japan just came at a very opportune moment in my life. Every day was an adventure. Every day I learned a new phrase. I met a new person. I tasted a new dish. It was just a wonderful journey, and I think I was a round hole, or in a round. A round peg in a round hole, or a square peg in a square hole, or whatever.
You fit.
I fit perfectly. I think I had, with our Zoroastrian and Parsi upbringing, there was enough of the westernized part of me that Japan sort of, the Japanese accepted. And I was Modi's sensei for years and years. And,
sweet.
And I had started graying then, and because of that, they would, the teachers, I came on a Japanese Ministry of Education program that brought in 850 teachers in 1987 when they started the program. And I was one of the few that was, not somebody who just graduated from college, and I had teaching experience. And so the teachers, because of my gray hair, they would just let me make the lesson plans, and we just had a wonderful time.
Wow. A little gray hair got you a long way.
A little gray hair got me a long, long way.
Yeah.
And I want to share this story that just still tickles me. I left Japan in '98 to come to India and start this project. And in 2008, I was visiting. That is, so many years later, and I went to a Japanese. They call it a police. They call it a police box, where you go and you ask for directions. I wanted to find a bank, and I asked the policeman there in Japanese, very politely, where is the nearest bank? And he just looked at me, and I was like, what's going on? You know, have I said something wrong? Is my Japanese, is he not understood my Japanese? Although I felt my Japanese was perfectly, clear to him. And he just said in Japanese, "Aren't you Modi sensei?"
Oh my
And it just blew
goodness!
me away that,
Oh,
my
wow.
student, in 1987, this was like 2008, and he
Oh.
recognized me, and he just was so thrilled. Japanese don't hug, but he hugged me,
Oh.
and policemen in Japan wear gloves, so he immediately, chucked off his gloves and just shook my hand first, and then just hugged me, and it was so delightful to feel, there was so much joy to feel that you made such an impression that, 21 years later, a student of yours remembers you with such pleasure.
Yes, that's wonderful.
And so then I left Japan, and then my journey has been in village India. And 2 years into the journey when we started Ashtanukai, I found that many young girls were wearing a Mangal Sutra, which is, the black and golden beaded necklace that married women in India wear, the married Hindu woman. And I started wondering, why are so many girls with hardly any breasts wearing Mangal Sutras?
So young.
Absolutely. They were maybe 13, 14 at
Oh.
most.
Oh my.
And I asked my staff and was told that all the the public schools in the villages were up to 7th grade, after which the girl would drop out because there was no high school in the village.
Oh dear.
And they would be married off because the parents were afraid they'd, be abused or whatever. And so I got all the 7th grade mothers together in several of the villages. We worked in, at that time, 10 villages. And I asked them, well, what do you do with the boys, your sons? Don't you send them to school? And, oh, yes, our sons are so important to us, they're going to look after us in our old age. So we buy bicycles for them. And I said, what about the girls? And they said, oh, no, the girl is going to be paraya dhan, which means the wealth of another family, so why should we invest in her? And so I said, okay, if I give every single girl in this class, in every village, a bicycle, will you send them all together? Then there won't be any problem of, them, their safety or anything. And the mothers agreed. And we sent 1,000 girls to school.
Wow.
And we're at a stage, Farah, where we don't need to give girls bicycles because the parents are buying them for them.
Wonderful. That's fabulous.
They bought into our, into our sort of campaign that educating the girl, is so important. And along with that, we started life skills courses where we taught the girls about, things that mothers and grandmothers and parents, teachers and, peers would never tell them about sex, about menstruation, about, things that they need to know that are very critical for their lives.
Yes.
And then we started karate after this horrific murder in Delhi. And I'm
Good for you. That's a great idea.
I'm very proud to tell you that my girls have won gold and silver and bronze medals at district, state, national, and international meets. These
Wow.
are village girls.
Wow. And
so we are very proud of them. Yeah. So
this is a short term they've had the karate lessons too.
they've had this. We've taught karate for at least 4 years now.
But still,
Yeah,
that's a
but
short
they're
time.
just amazing, and they're little ones that are like 3rd, 4th grade. You should see how they do the kicks and stuff.
That's great.
And then we started a scholarship program, and we're very fortunate that a Canadian donor, a Canadian Zoroastrian donor, has helped us through the years to give scholarships. So from the 9 scholarships we offered in 2006, like I could barely find the girls, like where, I want to give scholarships, but which are the girls who want, where are the girls who want to go to college? There were very few at that time.
Really?
Now it's like 125 scholarships which we distributed this year, and every year we are giving more and more. And our girls are becoming biotechnologists, dentists, pharmacists, automobile engineers, computer engineers, IT.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's just, they have blown me away. So the lesson I've learned is you just need to give that little push, that little opportunity. What people lack is not, what people lack is access, access to opportunity, access to credit as far as our, the women in our communities, our village communities are concerned. So just giving that little bit of, push or access, has made our girls take flight, and, we've given them the wings to fly, and we are so, so proud of them. And
how old are they when they get married now?
Well, I'm sorry to say that they're still not getting married on an average above the age of 18. They're still getting married around 17 or so average. We're just doing a survey to assess that. But from the 13 and 14, at least they're finishing 10th grade. And many of them are also finishing 12th grade. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say many. A few of them have negotiated with the in-laws to say, I'm right now in my SY, which is the second year of my BA bachelor's degree. If I marry you, you have to let me finish my last year and get a bachelor's degree. So they've come to a stage where they're able to even negotiate, terms with the in-laws.
That's really a lot of assertiveness to have been able to do that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll just very quickly also tell you about our village women.
Sure.
They run dairies that are earning 300,000 to 400,000 rupees a month.
These are the parents of the girls or the girls themselves?
No. These are the mothers of the girls whom we have formed into these savings groups, which we call in India self-help groups. And this self-help group movement has taken off. Women, when they come together to save and loan each other, have realized that in unity there is solidarity, and they could solve their own solve their own problems by themselves without having to, rely and depend on others.
Yes.
And so they solve problems like sale of illicit liquor in the village, water problem where women got banded together and they said, we're not getting water on this side. The government has a scheme that's 30 years old and still has the water's only come to the other side of the highway.
Oh dear.
We're going on a hunger strike.
Wow.
And when that was publicly announced, the water immediately flowed on the other side to their village.
And how were you involved in that?
We set up the self-help groups. We organize them. We're the catalysts to set them up. We monitor them for a while to make sure that all the accounting and everything is done. We train them, and then after a year or so, we just sort of let them function on their own. And later we sort of keep an eye on them. In terms of the social platform that we've made this self-help groups into, we have meetings where we do workshops on social justice, gender equality, and always our campaign slogan is Amcha Vikas Amis Karo. Our development, we will champion it.
That sounds quite Gandhian.
The idea is to give the women this kind of mindset that that maa-baap of government is not where you look for any change. If you want any transformation, you be the change that you want to see. the Gandhian model. And so, there's been quite a bit of transformation in the villages, and the men now say that they're afraid, they allow the women to walk ahead of them.
Oh my goodness! That's a big change.
Yeah, it's just quite a change. I mean, of course, we did a small sort of qualitative. We did a study of, indicators of empowerment, very minimal kind of study, and one of them is mobility. Is before, women would not even be allowed to leave the four walls of their homes. And now they have the freedom to walk anywhere in the village, but they're still restricted from moving out without the husband's permission, moving out of the village without the husband's permission. And in terms,
it's changed quite a lot.
Yeah, it takes time. Social change takes time.
Yeah.
In terms of decision making, women now make the decisions in the family, how to spend the money, etc. And in fact, when the husband wants to buy a motorcycle, very often he goes to his wife and says, through your self-help group, can you get me a loan?
Really?
Yeah. But when it comes to, a really important decision-making matters like the marriage, very often the husband kind of makes the decision still. So things are changing, and also aspirational levels of the girls. Like before, the girls would want to be teachers or the nurses, and now we always ask them, what's your dream? And some girl will say, I want to be, one of the girls said, I want to be a pilot. And it was like, is she ever going to be a pilot? But the fact that she's allowed to dream, she's allowed to aspire for the stars. I think that is so important,
That's a huge accomplishment.
So anyway, I won't go on and on.
About that. So we've talked about your project. Let's talk a little bit more about you as a mother, and maybe a little bit just more about your life.
Me as a mother, I think I failed as a mother. I was a very young mother. I had my first daughter at 21. I married at 20. I had a daughter at 21, another daughter at 25, and my daughter was born, when I was 25. She always complained. She said, I didn't want a friend. I wanted a mom.
Oh.
So I guess
you're being very hard on yourself.
No. I think I cannot. On a scale of 1 to 10, I probably give myself 3.
Oh no.
It's true, and I think I was too young. I was not mature enough, and I could have, I have many regrets about my mothering, which is kind of sad because I had such a wonderful mother, and I feel that I kind of cheated my kids out of, a very special part of their lives. But they're still good kids, and I'm very lucky that. Very lucky to have had them. And my personal life, I don't know what to say. I actually lead a very boring life, other than the village project. And what I love to do is is like to create stuff, like this bicycle project, or this and the thing is, like, when I started, the name of our project is Ashtanukai, which means for a better tomorrow, with a free translation. And when I started it, I campaigned in Japan, and I was able to mobilize 900 people to support us for 10 years. So that was a great...
What an accomplishment that is.
So, without that kind of support, one could not have made many dents. I still feel what we've done is made dents, and the dents we've made have been thanks to everyone holding hands and partnering in many different ways, and so I've been very fortunate in being able to actually, I should say I've been very fortunate in being able to realize many of my dreams. So I wanted to go to the U.S. and I got an opportunity to go there, to live there. I wanted to teach at universities. I taught at universities in Japan as well as in Hawaii. I wanted to start this project, which was just a seed in my mind that actually became a reality. But I cannot take credit for it because without the support of these 900 Japanese, who were many of whom, I shouldn't say many, but some of whom were actually my adult students. And they believed in my vision, and they came for years and years to see the project and to support it, and so I'm so grateful to Japan and the opportunities it gave me. And finally, I must say that what led me to this journey was a book titled "May You Be the Mother of 100 Sons." And
who's the author?
It's written by Elizabeth Buemiller. She's now a New York Times byline journalist, and I met her in New York. And I've had like amazing opportunities. I was invited to be on a 21-member women's panel at the Hague. The 100th celebration of the first peace conference, the Hague Peace Conference in 1999. Yeah, and I've just had so many fortunate opportunities that I feel very grateful and very fortunate. And I think my Zoroastrian upbringing, as well as I think the upbringing that I had in the convent school that I was educated at, has helped me on this on this path to be compassionate, to serve. My mother's words always ring in my ears. To live is to give. I mean, what are we here for? Our lives have to have some meaning beyond just serving ourselves, and it makes me, it just thrills me to see our girls. One of my girls wants to become a district collector, a village girl whose father is hearing and speaking impaired. Mother is pathetically poor, and she dreams. And the fact that we have the opportunity to let her realize her dream, this just thrills me.
Yes.
So thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my life story.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like to say anything as you sort of conclude about all of these beautiful experiences that you've had in various countries, Japan and the United States and India, and what you've learned about life?
Oh my God, that's a very difficult question. What have I learned? I think what I said earlier, that life only takes on meaning when you're sort of trying to change or trying to make a better world. I think that's that is my ultimate philosophy. That how like here in India particularly, you always you find people always complaining about this, about that, and so on. But how many of us are willing to say, okay, this is dirty, or this is whatever, this is the problem. Well, let's roll up our sleeves and do something about it. And so that's how to say, that's my philosophy. And I feel also very I feel thrilled also when I hear some of these village girls saying, Ms. Modi, I want to be a social worker like you. I want to help others, you know. I mean, not you know, not that. I mean, there's a million other social workers, but if you can, through your life, help people to see, to reach for whatever star they want to aspire to, why not?
Absolutely. And Armene, you talked about being in the Catholic school and how there was an attempt to convert you. I'd just like to uncover that a little bit,
Okay.
and then I'd like to hear about your culture, the Parsi culture, and the faith, and what role that's played in your life.
Okay. So the nuns, they would have me say all the prayers, and they would, like every night, I would be, a nun would, this was like I was not even 6 years old, and so a nun would kneel beside me and say, come on now, say your nights, say Hail Marys and whatever, and maybe they meant it well.
Yes.
And then then they would ask. I mean, then I would be sort of taken. I was a boarder, so naturally during the vacation time, most everybody would be gone. But because my parents were so far away, I would still be in school. So I'd be doing things like Stations of the Cross, and be going to church and stuff like that. What was your second question?
So
Sorry,
the role of Zarathustrianism and being a Parsi, and how has that given some meaning to your life?
Yeah, frankly, like my mother did not have any particular, like we were taught the prayers, and beyond that, my mother didn't, really teach us about the religion or something. But I was curious, and I read, especially in my late teens, I started to read a little bit about the religion and so on. And I was particularly, and my mother followed all the rituals. So for example, I mentioned my father passed away, so for years we did Doodh Phul No Loban every single morning, So all the rituals, all the prayers and so on. And at that point of time, I never really, you just sort of accepted, and you followed the rituals without thinking. And one of the rituals that I was very, very upset about was my mother made me sit separate during my periods, and that was a very painful experience. So I made her promise when my brothers got married that she would never insist on, on their wives having to undergo the same painful experience. And later, when I came to the U.S., I like everything. I was so homesick for things, Zoroastrian or things Parsi, or so my mother. In those days, you didn't get any kind of Indian food in the U.S., and so my mother would send me all these, care packages to make dandal or something, and so that was important to me, and celebrating New Year, and even though we were in the U.S., making save and ravo and from cream of wheat and stuff like that.
Yum.
And so it was mostly sort of ritualistic. And then my ex-husband is the grandson of a very famous Parsi and Oriental scholar, Sir Jivanji Modi.
Oh wow.
So I actually got a chance to read many of his books, and to learn much about the Parsi, religion and the customs and so on. And for many years I prayed every day, but recently I have become very lazy. And just look up to the heavens ask for forgiveness. I don't pray anymore, but I have a great faith in the divine, and in many of the things in my life there have been very important coincidences, just happenstances that have led to very fortunate things. So I think there's somebody out there who is guiding us, and in our religion it's Ahura Mazda. So I was strong faith and I love the religion because of its such a practical, common sense religion, that you can so easily follow. So that's my take, and I still wear my sadra and kasti. I sort of feel a sense of protection that it gives me, or maybe an armor around me. So that's, but who knows? And yeah, I am very proud to be of a group of people that have outlived centuries of invaders
Yes.
and all kinds of disasters, and I hope that the community in India will see the light and will be much more accepting of the reality of today's Parsi situation. But I'm very proud to be a Parsi.
That's beautiful.
And I think I have the Parsi nose to, wherever I go, people will say, "Aren't you a Parsi?" And I say, "Yes." I certainly have the nose to prove it.
How lovely. A nice identifying mark.
Yeah, very proud of it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much, Farah, for giving me this opportunity to reflect and to share a little bit of my life, and all I can say is Ushtate.
Nishtate to you, and it was absolutely delightful to have a small window into your most accomplished life. Thank you very much, Armene.
Thank you.